Okay, so you want to own a McDonald's. You've driven past one your entire life. Same sign, same smell, same queue at the drive-thru at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday that makes no economic sense until you think about how many people are in that queue and how much each of them is spending, and how that never, ever stops. You do the math on a napkin. 45,000 locations worldwide, billions of customers every single year, the most recognized brand on Earth. A system so refined, so identical in every country, in every city, in every time zone, that a Big Mac in Tokyo tastes exactly like a Big Mac in Karachi, tastes exactly like a Big Mac in London. You want in. So you call McDonald's. And the first thing they tell you stops you completely. You cannot buy a McDonald's. McDonald's is not for sale. What you can do, if McDonald's decides you are worthy, if you pass a process that takes longer than most university degrees and costs more than most houses, is pay for the right to operate one under their rules. Their menu, their prices, their standards, their inspectors. Their inspectors, their suppliers.
You don't own the Golden Arches. You rent them. And the rental agreement is unlike anything you have ever signed. The initial franchise fee is $45,000. That is just the entry ticket. Before you open a single door, you will spend between $1 million and $2.3 million fitting out the restaurant. The kitchen equipment, the digital menu boards, the drive-thru technology, the seating, the playground if it has one, the entire physical infrastructure of a location that has to look and function identically to every other McDonald's on Earth. McDonald's does not build this for you. You build it with your money. Then the royalties begin. Every month, 4% of your total sales goes to McDonald's Corporation. Not 4% of your profit, 4% of every single dollar that comes through the door before you have paid a single member of staff, a single electricity bill, a single food supplier invoice. Then a further 4% goes into the National Marketing Fund. The advertising you see on television, the campaigns, the promotions, you are paying for those too, whether you think they're working or not. 8% of revenue, off the top, before costs.
You're starting to understand why McDonald's Corporation is worth $200 billion, and some of its franchisees are not. Now let's talk about the people who actually make the food. A McDonald's restaurant employs between 15 and 45 people, depending on its size and trading hours. In most countries, they earn somewhere close to minimum wage. In the United States, that has historically been as low as $7.25 per hour federally, though many states have pushed it higher. In the UK, it sits around £11. In Australia, where labor laws are stricter, McDonald's workers earn significantly more, and somehow the burgers still cost roughly the same. Your monthly wage bill for a single busy location runs between $50,000 and $150,000. Managing that workforce, the scheduling, the turnover, the training, the no-shows at 6 a.m. on a Sunday, the teenager who just dropped 40 Big Macs on the floor 10 minutes before the lunch rush, is a full-time job that never ends and never gets easier. Staff turnover in fast food is somewhere between 100 and 150% annually. That means on average, every single person working for you leaves and needs to be replaced within a year. Some leave within a week. You are permanently hiring, permanently training, permanently starting over with someone who has never operated a fry station under pressure.
This is not a passive investment. This is a job. A very demanding, very specific, very unglamorous job that happens to have a famous logo above the door. And then the food costs arrive. McDonald's controls its supply chain with a precision that would impress a military logistics operation. You do not choose your beef supplier. You do not negotiate your bun price. You do not shop around for cheaper cooking oil. McDonald's tells you who you buy from, at what price, in what quantities. The suppliers are approved, The specifications are fixed. The quality standards are non-negotiable. This protects the customer experience. It also means your food cost is whatever McDonald's supply chain decides it is. And when commodity prices rise, when beef gets more expensive, or cooking oil spikes, or the price of potatoes goes up because of a drought somewhere, your margins compress and you absorb it. Food and paper costs run between 28 and 32% of revenue for a typical McDonald's franchisee. Add your 8% royalty and marketing contribution, add your labor, add your rent, because McDonald's often owns the land and building and charges you rent on top of everything else, typically somewhere between 8 and 15% of sales.
You are now somewhere between 55 and 65% of your revenue spent before you have paid your utilities, your insurance, your maintenance, your local marketing, or the loan you took out to fit the place out in the first place. The average McDonald's location generates between $2 and $3 million in annual revenue. Run the numbers. After everything, the royalties, the rent, the food, the labor, the utilities, the loan repayments, the average McDonald's franchisee takes home somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000 per year from a single location, for an investment of over $1 million, for a job that starts at 5 a.m. and ends when the last customer leaves. You sit with that number for a while, and then you notice something. The franchisees who are genuinely wealthy, the ones driving the cars you imagined when you made that first phone call, almost none of them own one McDonald's. They own 10. They own 20. They own 50.
The largest McDonald's franchisee in the United States owns over 1,000 locations. 1,000! The economics that feel modest at one location become something entirely different when you multiply them. $150,000 per location per year times 20 locations is $3 million a year. Times 50 locations is $7.5 million. The system is designed to reward scale. The franchisee who figures that out early and executes it ruthlessly becomes extraordinarily wealthy inside a structure that looks, from the outside, like a burger restaurant. But getting from one location to 20 requires something McDonald's does not give you and cannot be bought. Operational discipline, so precise it borders on obsessive. McDonald's sends inspectors, unannounced. They walk in, they order food, they time how long it takes, they check the temperature of the storage units, they examine the cleanliness of surfaces that customers never see. They score everything on a system so detailed it has its own acronym. A bad inspection doesn't just hurt your pride. It can cost you the right to open additional locations. It can cost you the right to renew your franchise agreement when it expires.
Your franchise agreement lasts 20 years. At the end of 20 years, McDonald's decides whether to renew it. They are not obligated to. The location you spent $2 million fitting out, the customer base you spent 2 decades building, the staff you trained, and the systems you refined, all of that sits inside a contract that McDonald's can choose not to extend. This is the part of the agreement that franchisees rarely talk about in public. You have built something real, something valuable, something that generates cash every single day. And the entity whose name is above the door can, at the end of the term, simply decide the relationship is over. So here is what you actually own. You own the operation, the daily grind, the 5 a.m. opening, and the staff rota, and the supplier relationships, and the local reputation, and the queue at the drive-thru at 11 p.m. that got you interested in the first place. McDonald's owns the system, the brand, the supply chain, the real estate in most cases, the menu, the marketing, the $200 billion machine that makes your location worth operating in the first place.
You are the engine. They are the car. And the car decides when the engine gets replaced. Some franchisees resent this.
They built their locations from nothing, learned the system, perfected the operation, and still wake up every morning inside someone else's rules. Others have made peace with it completely, because the alternative, building a burger restaurant from scratch with no brand recognition, no supply chain, no proven system, no 45,000 locations of proof that the model works, is not actually easier. It is harder. Most independent restaurants fail within 5 years. McDonald's franchisees fail at a rate of less than 5% over 20 years. The golden arches are expensive to stand under, but they are very good at keeping the rain off. And at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday, when the drive-thru queue stretches around the block and the fry station is running at full capacity and the till is counting revenue that never really stops, you understand exactly why you made the call. The question was never whether McDonald's makes money. The question is whether you can live with how it makes it. Most people, once they're in, decide they can.